Hi everyone. I wanted to share a little bit, and I'm not sure if most of you know how fair treatment reform and reentry came to existence. January 24th, 2011, I walked out of the front doors of Marion Correctional. They came and got me around 8. I didn't leave till about 11:30. One sister was coming up from Texas, the other one from Brunswick, Ohio. And of course, I was the last one to leave. Everybody else left by 8:30 that day. So I was kind of panicking. But I made a promise to a good friend of mine who was like a brother to me, Gerald Loomer. Um, we ate together. We shared commissary. He did all the cooking because my cooking skills was not the best. But shortly before I left, he had a leg amputated from the knee down. And the state did not take good care of him. That's why he lost a knee. He had like 4 surgeries, and he kept getting infections in his legs because they would not clean it. Well, I told him because I knew he was innocent of his crime, but I promised him I would fight for him when I got out. And shortly after I got out, I became the president of Ohio Cure. And on the side, we had a fundraiser for Gerald Loomer. We raised a little bit over $500 with the help of his family and some Cure members. And we had an attorney by the name of Joel Spitzer that was going to help us out with a parole hearing. Tried to get a medical parole, or I forget exactly what it was. So I told Joel what we made. He said, "Don't worry about that." But he wanted to help. He had so much compassion for Gerald and some of the other people that's locked up, and he still does. But one day I was sitting in my living room, and Gerald's sister called me and said he's not going to make it through the night. Um, I knew he was sick, but I don't think I knew the extent of it. I know earlier, several years before I left, he was battling cancer, and he was at OSU probably half a year. But Darlene called me um, that evening when he passed away, and she said that Franklin Medical Center took out his feeding tube, and OSU told him never to take his feeding tube out. That's how sick he was. But the nurses at FMC said the doctors at OSU does not run anything, so they took his feeding tubes out, and shortly after that he died. So they had 2 causes of death. One, they said natural causes. He was not that old. The other one said he died of cancer. So nobody is going to really know the reasons that he passed away. But he was a good friend of mine. And after he passed away, we started getting letters and letters and letters of people that needed help. And we never fought on those claiming innocence, and we still don't. There's other groups that help that. We have 3 of our board members that I believe their loved ones are innocent or wrongfully convicted. I like how Candace puts it, our president, on wrongful conviction means you're convicted of a crime you did not do, but you were guilty of something. And innocence means you did not commit the crime. So I was with Cure maybe about 8, 9 months, and I could not get the people to work together. So a good friend of mine, a sweet, beautiful girl by the name of Amy Wicks, asked me to be her first president in the name of justice, and I was for about a year. Amy specialized in children of the incarcerated, as well as those who are in the county jail, which I was not real knowledgeable because it's been like 30 some years that I was in the county jail. But I became our president, and I was there for about a year. And then I was thinking, and several people came up to me and said, "Why don't you start a group that focuses on parole reform and some of the prison issues that are really unfair, such as those, just mental abuse that's taken place, the unfair treatment of inmates, lack of medical. But our main purpose has and always will be parole reform. And right now we're so close to accomplishing our goals for 4,100 under the old law, which is pre-sentence bill 2. That's those that was convicted before 1996. Because truth in sentencing, which was the new law, meant that anybody after 1996 would not see the parole board except lifers. So some of us that was under the old law did anywhere from 15 to 20 years longer for the same crime than those that was charged after 1996. How unfair that could be. I remember meeting with a state senator several years ago, and he was part of Senate Bill 2. That's how long he just flip flops back and forth. But he said he doesn't feel comfortable putting everybody under one law or helping those under the old law out. I said, what's the difference between them and the new law? We cannot discriminate against people as the state has done. So we formed Fair Treatment Reform and Reentry, and the name came about is I was doing a radio interview one day. No, it was I think it was with Fox 8 out of Cleveland, and they said, "What's the name of the group?" And I didn't have a name picked yet, so I just said Fair Treatment Reform. And about 4 or 5 months later, we attached Reentry to it before we got our 501c3. Because we do want to help out with those coming out, such as with personal hygiene bags, resources, and our long-term goal is transitional housing for these folks. But all good things take time. Now this coming Friday, which is April 26th, at 11 a.m., we're having a big protest in Cleveland in front of the Justice Center. We will be bringing signs. If you'd like to bring signs on any issues that deal with the prison or county jails, unfair treatment of the inmates, parole, and then put your loved one's name on it, or lack of medical, feel free to do that as well. We have several groups that said they will be joining us that day. Gina McCullis is our Cleveland vice president. Well, she's the vice president of our whole group, but she's done a great job organizing it and networking for us in the Cleveland area. And I would like to really acknowledge our executive board, because our group would be nothing without their leadership and their hard work. Candace Hudson is our president. She was our secretary at first, then became our president. Gina McCullis is our vice president. Bobby Joe Carr is our secretary. And Terry Croson is our treasurer. So we have a full board, and we have several committees out there. So inbox Candace Hudson on the committees. Also, if you'd like to purchase one of our group churches that have FTRR on it, and then underneath the Fair Treatment Reform and Reentry, and on the back you could put down, it might, we believe in second chances or parole, and then your loved one's name. Let her know what you want. Put inbox Candace Hudson. They have $15 and $5 extra if she has to mail them to you. So I commend our executive board. They're doing a great job. Right now we have a sponsor for our proposal, and this, we're praying that our folks can get relieved and be released. This is not just a ticket for release, but it's so that they have a fair chance for release on their programming, their conduct. Not the nature of crime, because that would never change, but people do. We don't want the prosecutors to attend parole board hearings. They presented their case in court. So I'm not sure why they're permitted at the parole hearings. We need Cynthia Mauser terminated from the parole board. Well, she's over everything still, and I know she controls a lot of it. So change needs to happen, but without you, we can't really win. So pull together with us, folks, and check out our website, www.fairtreatmentreformandreentry.org. If you need to email us, it's at fairtreatmentreform@gmail.com. Our phone number is 614-404-4924. Again, our website is www.fairtreatmentreformandreentry.org. We're always looking for donations, as we're in the middle of a campaign right now to win. We're working on a letter campaign. We have real nice postcards that Bobby Joe donated right here. And on the back, it says, "I am in support of the Fair Parole Treatment and Reentry Reform Bill presented to legislation by Fair Treatment Reform and Reentry." So come to some of our meetings and pick up a postcard, and we are willing to mail it for you. We're asking you fill it out at our meetings. We'll bring some to our protest Friday. So again, folks, we thank you for the donations, the support, and the compassion for others, so people can be treated fair. Thank you, everyone.